Welcome, everybody. Good afternoon or good evening, whatever you are, and thanks for attending the InduSoft Web Studio webinar about version 8.0 plus Service Pack 1. So as most of you know, we are about to release Service Pack 1 for InduSoft Web Studio version 8.0, and the goal here is to present what's new in this Service Pack so you can plan accordingly on your projects, future projects, existing projects, and know upfront what's coming in Service Pack 1. First and foremost, I would like to thank each and every one of you for more than 18 years of collaboration and cooperation. InduSoft continues increasing market share in the market, continues being a quite successful company and product in the market, and it's undoubtedly thanks to you, our customers, our partners, our users that actually use the product and provide feedback to us and help us to evolve this product on the correct direction. So I can say that 100% of the items I will demonstrate today and show today as new items for Service Pack 1 have been a result of feedback from you, from our customers. We continue being a customer-driven and customer-focused company, and the roadmap, the product changes, the product evolution is really driven by feedback from you that are actually using the product and promoting the product on the market. So thank you very much, and please continue to provide your feedback during and after Service Pack 1, and it will help us to keep evolving the product on the correct direction. The agenda is, first, a very quick introduction. I will provide the products portion of the presentation. My name is Fábio Terezinho, by the way, and Scott Courtier will take over on the resources and talk about the website update and all the additional material that we created around InduSoft Web Studio version 8.0 plus Service Pack 1, including documentation, videos, webinars, data sheets, all the information you need to efficiently take advantage of the new features in Service Pack 1, and also use those new features in Service Pack 1 if you are actually building a project. Then we will open for Q&A, so you can use the bar, the WebEx bar on the top of your monitor, and either write your questions on the chat box or in the Q&A box, and Scott and I will be addressing all the questions and answering each one of them at the end of the webinar. With that, let's get started with the introduction. The goal here is pretty much to reaffirm several items, principles, philosophy that InduSoft has been adopting over the years, and they remain true. And the features and the new enhancements we have in Service Pack 1 are a direct result from those principles, from vision to customer value and customer feedback. So first one here, the vision remains the same, which is to provide a product based on an open architecture, allowing you to read any data from any device, from any system, even databases, clouds, and get this information through any network and present this data on any device. This has been the InduSoft vision from day one. The technology evolved, obviously, over those 18 years, so our product today is completely different from the product we had 18 years ago. From the technology behind the hood, from the user interface, the look and feel, functionality, features, tools. However, the vision remains consistent. Is a tool to create HMI, SCADA, MES kind of project with a high level of productivity, which allows you to collect data and then present this data on virtually any device where this data should be consumed for. 18 years ago, it meant PCs running Windows 3.11, Windows NT. Nowadays, it means Windows, Android, iOS, tablets, smartphones, PCs. So we have evolved the product to support new technologies, keeping the vision to provide you a tool that just resolves the problem of data acquisition, data manipulation, and data presentation. When it comes to portability, we also remain with the same philosophy that you have a single development environment on the left side here of the slide, and once the application is done, you can download, you can deploy this application on multiple different platforms, and we have different runtime editions of the product to execute this application on different platforms. So we have InduSoft Web Studio full runtime, which allows you to run applications on Windows 7, Windows 8, Windows 10, even Windows 10 IoT Enterprise, Windows Server 2008, Windows Server 2012, 32 bits or 64 bits. We have Embedded View that runs on Windows Embedded Standard. We have CE View that runs on Windows Embedded Compact, also known as Windows CE. And recently, about a little bit over 1 year ago, we released IoT View, which is InduSoft's runtime for no Windows platforms. And it comes out of the box compiled for Linux and VxWorks. So you can deploy and run IoT View on devices like Raspberry Pi, Linux-based PLCs like the Soft PLC, runtime PLC that you see in the picture, smart switches, smart routers. So virtually any device running a compatible platform based on Linux or VxWorks. But regardless of the runtime platform, you use the same development environment to create the applications. So again, back to the principle that you develop once and deploy anywhere. You don't have to learn different tools and deal with different tools to design applications for different platforms. And the product gives you scalability even on number of tags, from 150 tags all the way up to 10 million tags. Mobility has always been a strong advantage of InduSoft Web Studio over the competitors, and we remain investing a lot in our mobile solutions, what we call thin clients. So by definition, a thin client is a station where you do not have to install the actual product in the InduSoft Web Studio runtime, nor the license, nor the application configuration. Those components reside on the runtime station, on the server station, which nowadays could be even a Raspberry Pi running IoT View. And a thin client is a remote station where you can access the graphical interface, read data, interact with the application, change set points, send commands. So operate the application the same way you would on the local station. But doing that from a remote station where you do not have to install the product, the application, and the license. So over the years, we designed different types of thin clients. The first one was called Web Thin Clients, where you use Internet Explorer on Windows to access the applications remotely. The second one is called Secure Viewer Thin Client, where you install an executable in a remote station, and then when you run it, it connects to the runtime station, and you can access the screens, navigate through the screens, modify set points, interact with the applications in a full screen mode, so the operator does not know the difference between the full runtime and the secure viewer. And Studio Mobile Access. Studio Mobile Access is the result from a decision made 5 or 6 years ago to create a graphical interface which is platform agnostic and based on a standard technology called HTML5. The bottom line is you design your screens in the InduSoft Web Studio just like you have been doing for years, but now you can access those screens, visualize those screens, navigate and interact with the screens from virtually any browser on any platform as long as this browser supports HTML5. It includes Windows, Android, iOS, Linux, Internet Explorer, Microsoft Edge, Chrome, Safari, different browsers. We have been evolving the SMA over the years to support all the capabilities we have in our graphical interface. And in Subspec 1, we have made a major enhancement in this area, as I'll demonstrate in a few minutes. Interoperability, another hot topic for InduSoft. We continue the philosophy to not only offer standard interfaces like OPC-DA, OPC-UA, OPC.NET, OPC-XML, but also continue developing new communication drivers and even evolving the existing communication drivers. So nowadays we have drivers for more than 240, actually more than 250 protocols built in the product, and it includes protocols for devices like Omron PLCs, GE PLCs, Allen Bradley, Siemens, Modbus TCP, Modbus Serial, Modbus Plus, Profibus, DeviceNet, ControlNet, or even IT kind of protocols like SNMP, Simple Network Message Protocol, or even MQTT, which is an important protocol for IoT, Internet of Things. So in addition to the drivers, we also continue supporting our database interface, so you can very easily exchange data with databases, local databases, or even databases on the cloud like Microsoft Azure. And all those features together pretty much result in our main value proposition, which is return on investment. So it's a complete HMI SCADA package that provides a lot of tools for you to design, develop, deploy, maintain applications in a short period of time in an affordable manner. So everything you design in the product, even new features or enhancements, are keeping in mind how you can take advantage of new capabilities in the product in a user-friendly manner. So it's all about the return on investment when you create applications with InduSoft, but also protecting your investment when you are designing applications with InduSoft. So in Service Pack 1, we have new capabilities, but we keep supporting applications designed in previous versions of the product since version 1.0 back in 1997. So it's all about evolving the product, keeping compatibility with applications built in previous versions. And by the way, in Service Pack 1, it's an update for version 8, but any customer that has a license to version 8 can install Service Pack 1 and use Service Pack 1, not having to upgrade the license. So any license for InduSoft Web Studio 8.0 supports Service Pack 1 automatically. With that, let's start diving into the major new features in Service Pack 1. So we have implemented more than 300 changes in the product user stories since version 8.0. So for sake of time, we just prioritized and classified here a few ones that are major enhancements from even patch 3 to Service Pack 1. So the main features designed on the last 3 months and features that bring substantial value to the customers. The first one is the global text-based and document text-based find replace. This is a feedback from you, from our customers. We have the ability to cross-reference tags in the application, but now in Service Pack 1, we have the ability to cross-reference, to find any kind of text throughout the whole project. Could be a function name, could be a comment, could be a tag name, could be expression. So you can find any text within the application. And the way it works, you come here on the development environment. On the Home tab, you have this Find Replace option. You just type here what you want to search for instance, second. Hit Find All. And as you see here, in less than 1 second, I get the results from all the interfaces where this tag was used. So I can just double-click on each one of those instances, and it opens the document, the screen, the procedure where that tag was used. And I can very easily find any text throughout the whole application. And if it is a document, like for instance, this script here, I can, again, go to the Find Replace and look for this particular text within that document only. And if I want to replace, I can here replace with something else and replace all the instances of this text with a new text within the whole document. So very powerful and very useful tool to increase productivity when you are designing, troubleshooting, or maintaining applications created by yourself or by someone else. So not only you have the text-based find and replace capability, but the performance, we took special care to provide the performance that you need. So even in this application where I have several screens, scripts, tags, and so on, or even in larger applications that we use in benchmark with thousands and thousands of tags, hundreds of screens, the result is pretty much immediate. It is the result from an internal query, in internal database we keep with all the text that we use in the application. Another major enhancement is the support for the math task on IoT View. So again, IoT View is our runtime edition for Linux. And previously, we had, in the current version of IoT View in the market, we support drivers to read data from PLCs. We have drivers to push data to the cloud using MQTT, or even to push trained history information to remote databases. But we didn't have yet the capability to manipulate this data, to make if statements, conditional statements, for loops, expressions, to manipulate this data between pushing to the cloud or receiving from the cloud and passing to the devices. Now with support for the math task that you have here under tasks math, you can create as many math tasks as you want and create your own logic, your own scripts using the built-in functions from InduSoft. You have hundreds and hundreds of functions available here, including for loop statements, conditional statements, and so on, and run those scripts, run those logics in IoT View on Linux. So it increased substantially the power that you have on IoT View to create background scripts, background logic running on your project on Linux. Same thing for database ERP built-in functions. So in the InduSoft Web Studio, we have a set of functions here for database ERP, which allows you to execute transactions with remote databases based on connections that you define here under tasks, database ERP. And now we support this set of database ERP functions on IoT View. So with this DB execute, you can pretty much trigger any transaction with the database. You can delete records, insert records, update records, create tables, create databases, drop tables, drop databases, everything with a single function called DB execute that now is supported on IoT View running on Linux. And using this set of 5 functions, you can also query data, read data, select data from remote databases and manipulate this data. Filter, modify, write to tags, show on screens. So with this short set of simple functions, you can run an application on Linux and execute any transactions with any SQL relational database running in a remote server or even on the cloud like SQL Azure. On mobility, the major enhancement was the support for the trained control, the native trained control from InduSoft with tags data source on the SM18 client based on HTML5. So I can come here to my application, run the demo application, open SM18 client. I'm using Chrome, but could be Safari on the iPad or Chrome on Android. Could be Microsoft Edge, any browser that supports HTML5. And now when I go to features, we can display the trained control, the trained object on HTML5. So I can hit here the play button and see the online mode of the trained, can hit pause and pause the information. I can use gestures like 2 fingers to zoom in, zoom out. It's hard to see through the webinar, but I'm using here gestures, 2 fingers to easily zoom the information in and out. Can use also gestures to pan the train forward or backward and visualize different data. I can enable the cursor now, and as you see here, we have a user-friendly with a modern look and feel box here, interface, which shows the timestamp and the value of each pen as they intersect with the cursor. And here down below in the legends, you can see the labels for each one of the pens. I can also use built-in buttons to zoom in, to zoom out, and it's all built in on the standard trains control. And as you save this screen as HTML5, now your trains control can be visualized from SMA thin clients, from web browsers that support HTML5, including the iPad, iPhone, and Android devices. So major enhancements on Service Pack 1 and support for custom widgets. Custom widgets is our solution to expand even more the openness of InduSoft Web Studio and allow you to embed in your screens any external control that can be displayed in a web browser. So it's very similar to the concept we have with ActiveX controls and .NET controls, where you can drop on the screen controls created by someone else. But the problem with ActiveX controls and .NET controls is that those technologies are inherently for Windows only. And using custom widgets, you can embed in your screens external controls that can be displayed on any platforms, including iOS, iPads, iPhones, Android, tablets, and smartphones, any browser that supports HTML5. For sake of time, instead of showing how to configure the custom controls, I will just show a video here with some ideas just to show that you can insert in your screen controls that were created by someone else, providing capabilities that are not necessarily typical HMI capabilities. So in this particular demo here, I used a control that renders 3D images, another control that follows my hands on the camera as I move my hand. And as you see here on the top of the monitor, as I move my hand, not only I move this 3D object on the screen, but I also update tag values from InduSoft. So this is based on the interface we built in Service Pack 1, allowing you to bind properties and events from your external controls with tags and functions from your InduSoft Web Studio application. This is just another example using a different external widget created by someone else that does face recognition. So here on the top, I have the camera widget. It recognizes me and says, "Welcome, Fabio, and here is what you have to do." When I leave the camera, it recognizes I'm no longer there and clear the to-do list. When someone else comes in, recognizes him, in this case Joel, here is his to-do list. And when I come back to the camera recognizes me again and says, "Welcome, Fabio, and here is what you have to do." So custom widgets, the feature that we have in Service Pack 1 pretty much gives you the openness to embed in your application external controls created by someone else and interact with those controls in virtually any platform that we support. To create the controls, to bind the properties from your controls with InduSoft, it is required some HTML and JavaScript skills. And you can do it by yourself following our documentation, our tutorials, if you have those skills. Or we also have consulting services that we can offer to create those binds, to create those controls. And once those binds are done once, you can reuse those custom widgets, just like ActiveX controls or even native controls from InduSoft. So a lot of flexibility on the custom widgets, and you see some additional examples here using pie charts and Pareto charts from a company called HighCharts, weather icons, weather controls here, Google Maps. Now you can interact and you can easily add to your screens those external components that not necessarily were created by InduSoft, but you can easily integrate them to your InduSoft application and your InduSoft screens. The next one is a new migration tool. So most of you probably know that for many years we have different import wizards available in the product, like the PanelMate import wizard, the Panel View import wizard, which allows you to convert applications from those products to InduSoft Web Studio. Now we offer also, starting Service Pack 1, an import wizard for FactoryTalk. So using this import wizard, you can convert applications from FactoryTalk View ME, Machine Edition, and SE, Enterprise Edition, which is an HMI product from Rockwell. And you can convert those applications, export those applications out of FactoryTalk, and import those application settings into InduSoft Web Studio, including most of the graphics, the animations, the objects, the expressions, the comments, the commands, the tags, the communication interface. Just like any other conversion tool, not necessarily it will convert 100% of the application, but based on benchmark tests that we executed internally with real-world applications from customers, we estimate we were able to reduce the migration time in anything from 80 to 90 to 95%. So we convert most of the interfaces, and it saves a very substantial amount of time when you are converting applications from FactoryTalk to InduSoft Web Studio. And once the application is converted, you can use our standard tools and take advantage of all the additional features you have in InduSoft Web Studio and you didn't have in the previous HMI product. At last but not least, about interoperability, as I mentioned before, we keep developing new drivers, evolving drivers, and giving you more and more blocks and ways to easily interface InduSoft with external systems or devices. So we have the MQTT driver that implements the MQTT protocol, which is a standard protocol becoming quite popular in IoT, Internet of Things projects. And our driver works both as a publisher and subscriber to external MQTT brokers. We recently released the KAWR driver for the Kawasaki robot controllers. So it's a very comprehensive driver, and you can very easily exchange data with Kawasaki controllers, in addition to other drivers we already have in the product for Motorman robot controllers, FANUC, and so on and so forth. We have released recently and will be included in ServSpec 1 a native driver for SNMP, Simple Network Messaging Protocol. It's an IT protocol supported by several devices like printers, switches, routers. And now from InduSoft Web Studio, we have a native communication driver which allows you to very easily read and write OID values and even receive traps from those devices. So you can use InduSoft to design your HMI application and very easily interact with those IT components, routers, switches, even printers, radios, and so on, and exchange data with those devices through a built-in native communication driver. CTIA driver has been released for a while, but we have made enhancements now available in ServSpec 1. And it's not only a driver, but also an import wizard, which allows you to browse tags from the Siemens TIA, the S7-1500 PLC, and also communicate with the Siemens S7-1500 using tags instead of memory addresses. So we have both the communication driver and the tag integration for Siemens S7-1500. Again, just a small snapshot from more than 20 updates and drivers that we added to the product since the last release, and is our commitment to keep evolving the communication interface, providing more and more interoperability in a user-friendly manner to you, to our customers. So with that, I will pass control to Scott Courtier, and he will present the additional material and additional resources we have available to support and help you use ServSpec 1 in the product as a whole.
Fabio, thank you. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. Fabio, as always, I think I even learned something more from this afternoon's webinar than this morning's webinar. I learned something every time I talk to you, I think. So I would like to thank everybody for joining us and remind everybody that in this type of webinar, we can't hear you. So if you have any questions, please put those into the chat panel or the Q&A panel on the WebEx interface, and we'll either try to get to those during the presentation or at the end when there is a Q&A session. So again, if you have any questions, put those in the chat panel or the Q&A panel. Also, we're going to follow up with a survey email, and we're recording this, and we're going to post the slides and the video up on the website usually in just a couple of days, so you'll see these slides. Especially because what I'm about to show you, we've got a big list of what's available and what's coming soon, updated for Service Pack 1. I'm going to cover a couple of different sections, what's going to be up on the website, and then some additional resources that we have to accompany that. What we have for the website, first of all, is there's going to be new feature videos coming, specifically highlighting the new features within Service Pack 1. And if you didn't know this, we've got over 7 years of videos up on the website covering everything from webinars and trainings. And did you know that right now we have I think we're approaching 120 webinar videos that we've done over the last 4 years, covering just a huge range of topics from trending, alarming, security, you name it. There's probably a topic up there that covers any questions that you might have. Feel free to take a look at those, and if there's a topic that you need covered more, please let us know in our the follow-up survey. And if you didn't know also, you can attend our training class in Austin, Texas, which is just a great place to be, especially as those of us who are here in the north start to experience fall and eventually into winter. You're going to really want to travel to Austin, Texas. I enjoy it myself. But if you can't get there, maybe it's a different country for you, we do have over 40 training videos covering the product, and they're absolutely free. You can stream those, you can download those, and take a look, and we're going to be enhancing some of those specifically related to Service Pack 1 as well. And there's just many other topics that we have covering all kinds of information. So look for that coming soon too. Our blog, our social media in general, has tons of information, tons of content. Our blog has a lot of great technical content on it. It's not just salesy related stuff. For many of you, I recognize have logged in here, have definitely taken advantage of the content that's on the blog. I'll give you 2 great examples. I know we did very early on the blog an article specifically related to how to choose the optimal resolution for a new project. Do you choose a 4:3 aspect ratio? Do you choose a 16:9 aspect ratio? And what are some of the tools and tips for doing that? In addition to that, there's things like how to do a multi-screen, like video wall type application, as well as how to use some of the cell phone carriers in North America, how to use their web interfaces or email interfaces to send text messages to remote cell phones. So again, lots of great technical content on there. We have lots of videos on YouTube, and I took a look and I counted the top 10 videos that we have over 120,000 views combined on them. And in discussing this with Fabio, he said, well, we're not quite Justin Bieber, but we're getting there. So, yeah, I'm not sure how many. I don't follow Justin Bieber, but we've got a lot of really good content on our YouTube channel as well. Put links here in the presentation, so those will be available when we post the slides. Also, our LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, and more. Please feel free to take a look at those in whatever fashion you want to take a look at our social media. We've got a lot of the stuff up there. Also, for those of you who are not familiar, we do case studies, and these are some of our most recent case studies. Those could be found up on the website under marketing, under case studies, and feel free to download those, take a look at those. You or your customers may find really good real-world examples on how customers were able to use InduSoft to solve problems, issues, pain points, and there's lots of different industries up there. Feel free to take a look at not only maybe the industry that you're in, but half a step either left or right in industries that might be somewhat related. So, for example, if you're in packaging, don't only look at packaging, but maybe look at food and beverage and look at pharmaceutical, because some of those are going to be related or for that matter, water and wastewater. Lots of different case studies up on the website to really give you some good insight and good information on how people have really used InduSoft Web Studio. So those are some of the web resources. Let's take a look at some of the additional sales and marketing resources that can be an advantage for you and or your customers as you move forward with Service Pack 1. We're going to update the data sheet. We're working on that now. And if you didn't know, the typical format for our data sheet is here in this middle section is where you're going to see what has been updated on the most recent release. In this case, I have a snapshot of the 8.0 data sheet, and it shows the 8.0 what's new, but we're going to put the stuff in there for Service Pack 1. And then if you open that up and take a look at pages 2, 3, and 4, those features are listed in alphabetical order. This makes it easy to use for you and your customers if you're trying to explain something, or we expect that maybe you guys don't know every single feature in InduSoft Web Studio. So if a customer asks you, or maybe you're asking yourself, hey, I wonder if InduSoft supports this feature or that feature. For example, trends. Is trends included? Are trends included? You can just look under T and find trends. Does it do email? E for email. Does it do FTP? You can look under F. And OPC and driver. So again, they're all in alphabetical order, makes it really easy to use. So when we do that, it's going to be up on the marketing literature page as the link shows here. We also update and maintain 2 different PowerPoint presentations. There's one called Introduction to InduSoft Web Studio or Intro IWS.ppt. And then there's going to be a What is New PowerPoint as well. And the Intro IWS is really broken down into 2 sections. Company information, talking a little bit more about the company and what our long-term goals and visions are and where we've been and why we're able to do what we're doing, how the vision is what we have. And Fabio mentioned a little bit of that at the beginning of this presentation. And then it steps into product information. And I like to remind people that there's a chance that maybe you're not thinking of all the different features that InduSoft Web Studio has. And this is a great reminder to show you that and all the capabilities, and especially now with those custom widgets. And it really is kind of a portal into a new world and what the expandability and the openness of this product is. What is new is going to give you updates since the last release. So it'll be a whole list of things for what's in Service Pack 1. And as Fabio mentioned, there's just a huge amount of new features and new information and updates in Service Pack 1. And if we don't get the ability to put it into a single PowerPoint, I always encourage you to take a look at the release notes when they come out with the product, because that's going to give you the list of what's been updated. So those are 2 great resources at your disposal. Now, not necessarily associated with Service Pack 1, but still very related to InduSoft Web Studios. We have a mobile brochure, and it highlights thin clients as well as much more. For example, CE and embedded view being remote accessible, if you will. But I wanted to kind of add on to what Fabio said is, talking about the SMA thin client for iPads and Android phones and tablets. 2 quick things on that. It used to be maybe not so long ago that if somebody in a manufacturing facility had 10 machines, they had 10 operators. And now it's not that way anymore. And you might be lucky if you have 2 or 3 operators and maintenance staff. Well, this can help those staff be much, much more efficient by giving remote alerts and alarms and notifications when there's issues over on another part of the plant. And unlike some of our competitors who think they have a similar kind of feature by offering an app to download on an Android or an Apple and possibly inconsistencies between those 2 different platforms, this doesn't use an app. It uses just a standard web browser, an HTML5 web browser. Therefore, you don't have to download an app. We don't have to maintain an app. You don't have to maintain an app. Your customers don't have to maintain an app. And again, possibly different versions on Apple and Android and whatever other platform you're running. So this just makes it really easy and real convenient to see and interact with your machines and processes remotely. So take a look at that brochure. Another brochure that we have available is our IoT View brochure. And if you didn't know, the IoT View product is when you run on non-Windows devices such as Linux and VxWorks. And quick short story, I hope it's a short story. I saw a recent survey that as many as 50, 60, 70% of industrial automation engineers and people aren't really aware of what this Internet of Things thing is. It has a couple different names depending where you're at in the world. Internet of Things is kind of the commercial version of it. Industrial Internet of Things, Industry 4.0 is commonly used in Europe. And there's several other variations of it. A quick idea of what I like to think of as kind of the Internet of Things is I like to golf. And so I've got a little sensor that it's a little motion sensor that sits on my golf club. And when I take a swing via Bluetooth, it logs in 3 dimensions the accelerometer functions onto my phone, and then it pushes it up to the cloud. And then in real time, I can then analyze my swing in 3D to see what the heck is going wrong. And the important part is not to just log data for the sake of logging data. Then I got to analyze it and take a look at it and try to fix what I'm doing. And I think that's really the most important thing here. I almost liken it to motion control feedback loop. So if you're doing motion control and you're familiar with that, the general idea with a feedback loop is if you know where you want to go, but you don't necessarily know where you're at, well, it's going to be kind of hard to get there. So with feedback, it tells you where you are, and then you can make assessments on how to get to where you want to go. And I don't always do the best job when I'm analyzing my golf swing, but it's helped me quite a bit to be able to feedback and understand what I'm doing and correct that. It's made actually a big difference. So to roll that back in, the product that we have, IoT View, it allows you to embed this InduSoft not only from a visual standpoint, from a data collection standpoint, to a plant server or a cloud-based system to then be able to analyze the data, feed it back, and make actionable decisions on that. So take a look at this brochure. It's up on the website now. And again, not necessarily related to the release of Service Pack 1. In fact, this add-on is available for version 8, patch 3 or above, and it's an and-on template. And we've got a really great template here that allows you to monitor your plant effectively. And there's a supporting brochure that goes along with this, and very soon, it's not currently up on the website, but you'll find that under products and downloads under add-ons. It really allows you to build kind of your plant structure. So starting at a plant level, you can build, okay, I have these different manufacturing zones, and in each one of these zones, I have these different machines, and kind of build that tree structure as you go, and then tell it what you want to monitor from each of your different data sources, and then build that production monitoring system very easy as you go. So take a look at that. And that is available now. It will be up on our website shortly. And if you didn't know, we have a hardware certification program. It's fast, free, and easy. And the idea is if you want to run or your customers want to run InduSoft Web Studio and they don't necessarily know if their hardware is compliant, especially with an embedded operating system, Linux, embedded Windows, or even CE, you might want to make sure that you get that certified so that you don't have any hiccups when you go to deploy that. Some of these devices are very configurable, and somebody might have left out a file or forgot to include something. And so we will test and certify that hardware and give you a report back to make sure that it's able to run InduSoft or whatever flavor of the license runs on that particular hardware. And you can either send us one of your hardware and we'll test it and send it back to you, or get the manufacturer to send us a version of that hardware. We'll take a look at that. So that will soon be up on our marketing literature section as well. So that's coming soon. And if you didn't know, we have a Symbol of the Week program. And what we do is we've been asked to upgrade our symbols. And so up on the website, what you're going to see is an ever-growing library of, let's see if I have a copy of the website here. So let me bring this into view. If you go to the website here in the top navigation, all the way, almost all the way over to the right is the store. and then free add-ons. You're going to see here the symbol of the week that we've been adding here for a couple of years anyway, several years. So things like status lists, gauges, I/O module faceplates, indicators, things of that nature. One of them that we did is an and-on symbol set if you want to do production monitoring. And I like to point this one out because with the 6 or 7 different symbols that come in this symbol set, we were able to make a video showing just how easy it was to do an entire production monitoring system. I should say a very simple production monitoring system. And in this video, just by using those symbols that were created, I think in under 15 minutes, we were able to create a high-definition, large-screen production monitoring system. So again, 15 minutes by pulling some of those symbols in. So again, take a look at those symbols. Those are free to download, and they are either individual symbols or sets that could be 5, 6, or 10 or 15 different symbols. Currently, there's 87 different symbols or symbol sets with many more to come. And as we release new versions of InduSoft Web Studio, those will eventually be rolled into the product. So here's a link for that. Take a look at that when you get when you're able to download this slideshow when we post this up on our website. And also another thing that we do on a regular basis, usually the last Tuesday of the month, we host a what's called a Jumpstart webinar. And the idea is to create an accelerated learning curve. As I've taught several training classes, many training classes on InduSoft Web Studio, we always get compliments on how easy the product is to use. But as people come from different products and thankfully are converting from competitors to our product, there may be a little bit of a learning curve because we don't do things the same way that other products do. So how do we do those things? And rather than making you fumble around in the manual and try to figure things out on your own, what we do is we give you this 2-hour webinar and kind of talk you through things and show you how to get going and get going quickly. So again, an accelerated learning curve. It's focused on new users, though anybody can attend. We try to do it live every month with real questions and answers. So it's basically the same thing repeated every month. So if you've attended one of these, you don't have to attend another one unless you want to. But we do that, again, every Tuesday, or the last Tuesday of every month. For the schedule, check on InduSoft.com. So with that, again, we're going to open it up to questions. And feel free to put any questions that you have into the chat panel or the Q&A panel. Fabio, there's one question in there. I'm going to let you answer that.
Yes, so the first question is release date. So good news, the product is available. The product is finished. We'll make a global release to the market on October 10th, which is a Monday, not next Monday, the following one. It's going to be a global launch with the product available to download from the website. All the material that Scott mentioned here will be updated and available from the website as well. So the official release date is October 10th. But again, since the product is already ready, if you do require Service Pack 1 prior to October 10th to deliver a specific project or to demonstrate to a potential lead that needs to be done before that date, please let us know and we can provide you with a copy of Service Pack 1. But the actual global official release will be done on October 10th.
Fabio, thanks. Again, just a reminder, we have it open now for questions. Please put those questions into the chat panel or the Q&A panel, and Fabio and I will try to answer those. Fortunately, Fabio takes on most of those, takes the burden off of me. Thank you, Fabio. But in the meantime, I'm going to throw up a slide here that if you need to contact us about anything or sales-related information you want to place an order, we'd love that. Feel free to contact us at info@indusoft.com. You can contact our support group. There's an address in there. You can always call us. There's a chat button on our website homepage. Feel free to click on that and give you a live chat into really anybody at InduSoft. Give us questions about support type questions, salesy type questions. we'd love to hear from you. Fabio, do you have anything to add?
No, that's it. So I think we're almost on the top of the hour. So if there are no further questions, I just would like to, again, thank each and all of you for attending the webinar and for your continued support to InduSoft products and services. As I mentioned before, please continue providing your feedback to us. We use it as the main source of information to define the roadmap of the product. We are committed to keep evolving this product as fast as we have been and bringing new functionality and innovation and new features to you, always keeping in mind how we can evolve this product to give you more competitiveness in an affordable fashion. So again, thank you very much for your participation today. And if you have any further questions, please do not hesitate to contact us. And thank you, Scott, for a great presentation too.
Thanks. Thank you, everybody, and thank you again for using, supporting, and paying attention to InduSoft. We really appreciate it. Thanks.